Kevo got some eight boards there. See that?
Yeah. Kevin had 6 steals. God damn.
We had. Look at that. 80.
Come on, Brad, make some free throws, brother. Oh, damn.
Very close game in the first quarter, and it was pretty tightly contested. And then you went on that big run and close the second, and obviously took them apart the third, and won very, very convincingly. I mean, how happy were you with that performance?
I was really happy. I think we cranked it up and got some stops just before halftime and just got our noses in front. But they were still shooting 56%, and so were we. It was a shootout. And both teams were there on the defense, but it was just really good offense. Both teams getting some looks, and when you're running up and down, it's hard to apply the types of pressure when it becomes a half-court game. And we spoke about at halftime just being, well, which team is going to be the one that can apply that defensive pressure and get the advantage. The first team to do that will have the advantage. I never envisaged that we'd crank it up like that, like we did in that third quarter. Throughout, when you've got athletes, the way in which, in particular, you don't like to single it, everyone's doing their thing, but the way in which Brad and Kevin in particular are out there, they're in the lanes, it's just, I'm looking at that going, thank God I'm not having it, trying to be involved in that.
We used to do it.
He did it to me when he was 17 or something, and even then it was a nightmare. But it's just that I was such a powerful unit I was able to overcome. But he the way they are applying themselves on the defensive end is the difference. And we saw that as well against New Zealand. And then, of course, when you hit shots, you're coming down there and we execute. And so I thought we, at both ends of the floor, disappointed in the last quarter. Like we put the cue on the rack too early. Margins are important, all those things, and I told the fellas we've got to be racked. If you had said, would you take a 17-point win every single day of the week, because wins in this league are hard to come by. But would have been nice to finish with a bit more polish, but we'll take that win every single day of the week.
Niels, that third period, you forced 11 turnovers and grabbed 11 steals, which by all accounts is an NBL record. You equalled the NBL record for 40-minute games with 18 steals. You yourself, from a personal level, you've taken that challenge on board to be a leader of that end of the tour?
Yeah, 100%. One of the things I learned over in Europe was I've become a much better defensive player over there, and I'm trying to bring that back to Australia with the Kings here. And I feel if I can be vocal at the back there, talking guys through, and snaking a few steals here and then, it really lifts the grip up. And tonight I felt we capitalised on the steals and got easy baskets down the other end. It's an easier game. We can just get layups.
Combination you had with Kevin a couple of times and just hit you with just two brilliant assists. I mean, that combination seems to be developing pretty quickly.
Yeah, I hit him with one and he missed it, so he owes me.
Right.
But yeah, we get along really well. We've had a bit of stuff with the national team. We've got to know him a bit there, and we're doing well together. And I'm really glad I'm on the same team as him. He makes me better, and I feel like I'm helping him out too. So got a good combination, and not to forget Jason in the backcourt too there as well. He's been fantastic, and another one is Greg. He's been awesome.
He's rattled off a bunch of names. I mean, how important has that been to the team? You haven't had to rely on one guy, which has been, an issue with the Kings of recent times. And Josh Childress being the obvious one. For you to come in and have that kind of ability to just throw guys out there, they're going to produce for you. I mean, how big is that?
Yeah, I think that I'm a bit conservative with the rotations. I play probably the 8 guys a lot, and then the rotations aren't like some of the other teams. That might change a little bit when we get Steve. We get a few more options that were out there, but these guys, they've got talent. Greg is a great long defender, and the hardest thing is when you've got so much talent is them to be able to buy in and understand that at certain times, other people will be dominating, and sometimes you've got to sacrifice your own game. And with veterans that have been around, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. You can still be highly competitive, get those intrinsic rewards from the games without putting 20 on the board. do the little things, the defensive efforts, you know, and Truck is a classic example of that. You know, you look at his stats and you go, crikey, he doesn't, what, if you didn't see the game, you go, well, what's he done? But it undersells what he brings to the team. You know,
I'm glad he's on our side. Man.
Yeah,
Makes a lot of space.
you know, he whether he plays 2 minutes or 40 minutes, you would never be able to tell. He's so engaged and so team orientated, and that's infectious when you've got veterans that have been around, and Greg's like that now. Greg's like very much like that. Everyone's buying in to being unselfish. And a couple of times tonight, I almost was a bit too unselfish. It was like extra pass, extra pass, extra pass. And as I said to the fellas after the game, I'd much rather have that problem than have the other problem is trying to get people and sticking in their hands too much and not finding the extra pass. So it's a pleasant situation to be in right now, but we're not sort of getting too far ahead of ourselves. When you look at these other games, it's outrageously competitive, and there's probably a bit of hype around us right now because of the signings we've been able to make. But we got a long, long way to go. And form like we had in that fourth period will lose most games. Form like we had on that third period will win most games. So you see there was much more good than there was bad, but when you're up against, in this league, if you're bad for too long periods, unlike other seasons, you lose. So it's frighteningly competitive.
Yeah, you want to keep a lid on it. It's going to be hard. You want to keep a lid on it in some ways. With, how well the team's going. You just mentioned in the hype, and people are going to start talking about you. Do you walk a fine line, like because you want Sydney to be excited, you want this town, you want the players to be excited about how well they're going at the moment. So do you walk a fine line with keeping a lid on it and also feeling excited, like you want to be excited?
To a certain extent, my philosophy is to enjoy the experience, play the game and have fun, and do not disregard a win. Enjoy the wins, because in this league you could be a very short period of time and it can turn around very, very quickly. But enjoy the wins and understand why you win. And if you do that, you have a far better chance of repeating it. So we want to have fun. If it's a grind and it's no matter what sort of talent you've got, it's a struggle. But if we're having fun, enjoying each other's company, getting out there, competing hard, then you have a much better chance to repeat that success. We've had to deal with this in the pre-season. Our management here said we have to overhype this. We need to fill this thing. We need to generate hype and excitement. And as a coach, I'm like, all right. I've been around long enough, so que sera, sera. But as long as that doesn't impact our training, as long as that doesn't impact our psyche about respecting the opponent, understanding how tough it is, go for it. Do your thing, and fortunately we've got some veterans in our group that understand what is the sausage and what is the sizzle. They ought to understand that. So as long as we understand that, we'll be okay.
Andrew, it's best start for the Kings since 07, 08, just to keep the hype up.
Thanks, mate.
God.
So, where do you and given that it's a new team,
Yeah.
new group, is there still plenty of upside?
There is a lot of upside, and if there is no upside, we won't be competitive. We're going through this period now where we've had some wins against quality opposition. Every team's a quality opposition, but you look at the improvement that the capacities of each of the teams, and you go, well, they're only going to get better. Perth are only going to get better. Melbourne United are going to get better. They've got way too much talent. Some of the changes that are going on right now. Adelaide is playing fantastic basketball. Cairns Taipan are the best 0-3 team. What are they? 0-3. The best 0-3 team I've ever seen in this league, because they're not playing. They had a bit of a downer throughout Adelaide, but they could have easily beaten Perth, and they could have easily beaten us. So you don't have to go too far to see other games to understand how competitive it is, and it's just a matter of managing that. And if we can continue to grow, We get Steve in and another player coming in, which is a challenge for everyone. Hopefully, we've got the potential to get better. If we don't, we won't compete for a championship.
Enjoying coaching.
It is. It's fun. It's fun, but highly stressful. It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder than playing.
What does Steve Blake fit in your plans next week?
We'll wait and see. You know, things are going along well. He's a veteran, 35, 36 years of age. He understands. He's been around a long time. So we're going to bring him on slowly. You know, in that guard rotation we've got. You know, I've got to find a few more minutes to try and rest Kevin and Jason to keep them being able to play at the level that they have to play at the defensive end. You know, they need a bit of a rest now and then. So, you know, we'll wait and see. He's a veteran guy that can shoot it, can distribute the ball, smart player, and provided he can play the same sort of defense as Kevin and Newells and Jason, the way we've been going, I think that we'll be able to incorporate him and it'll be a smooth transition. But it's a little tougher than, say, Josh. But when you're a point guard and you've got to run the team, it's a little tougher transition than when you're a five or one of our front line. So it might take a little longer, but yeah, we'll wait and see. Until you actually get them in your program, you never really know.
Thanks, guys.
Great.
Cool.